BMW is a German automobile, motorcycle and engine manufacturing company founded in 1917. It also has a financial services division and owns the Mini and Rolls-Royce brands. It trades mostly on the German market in Frankfurt and has a market value of 36 billion euros or 380 billion rand. It has a price to earnings ratio of 8 and a dividend yield of 4.17%. Do you own a BMW?
I used to, but now I've got an old Mercedes. I do need to replace it though, so depending on how he sells this thing, I'm thinking maybe BMW is the way to go.
How well are you going to sell BMW?
Look, if I could pick a single stock just to own, this would probably be it. For me, interesting enough, sorry, talking about the South African auto industry, the first country that BMW actually did production in outside of Germany was in South Africa, interestingly enough. Look, this ticks the boxes in my mind from anything that you can look at from an investment case. It's got an increased exposure to China. Why is that important? The Chinese auto market is one that's growing quite strongly. And the nice thing about BMW is that they're a luxury brand within that.
So the BMW brand has traction in China?
It has. Not just the BMW brand, quite importantly, the Rolls-Royce brand has traction in China as well. So they're doing really well in that market. Actually, earlier this year, launched a Phantom specifically for that market. How can I not love this stock? I mean, I get to read about stuff like this.
Look,
are you convinced? Are you going out there to buy your BMW?
No, it does. Look, because the total global production is about 50 to 60 million vehicles a year, which puts our 50 to 60,000 sold in South Africa into perspective. Of that, I think about 15 or something is the US and a similar number in China. So that is a very big market, and at least there they've got the wherewithal to go and build the roads for the cars to drive on. So we do like the market. Even Europe we're pretty positive on. But as far as BMW is concerned, understand that it is potentially a cyclical stock, although right now it's probably at the bottom of the cycle because people are a bit more negative about things.
Which is why Tsepo loves this one.
You know, it's interesting we say bottom of the cycle. They've just had their best ever year in 2011. They've sold more cars this year than they've ever sold ever. So again, this is, whilst the share price is being treated as if it's a cyclical business, in terms of the fundamentals of it, BMW is doing incredible things.
It's still doing a roaring trade.
Yeah, look, it's only on like a 7 or an 8 PE you were reading there, and that's, I guess, a reflection of the fact that, you know, while the earnings have been strong and they've, you know, certainly rebounded and, as you say, made great profits this year, the market still isn't treating it as a stock that deserves a high rating, and I guess that's your thesis, is you want to hold it while it moves from the one to the other. Just one question for you. Isn't the Quant family's 46% stake, is that a positive or a negative?
Well, take a step back and explain it to us.
So there was this guy, Helmut Quant, who was an industrialist. He basically saved BMW in the 1960s. He's since croaked, but his wife and his 2 children have respectively like 16, 17 and 12% of the business. You add them up, they're like amongst the richest people in Germany because they own like 46% of 36 billion euros. So, you know, they're on the board, they have professional management, but it's a bit like being invested in a, you know, sort of a family company which has evolved beyond a certain point.
Does that concern you at all? Obviously not, considering you love the stock.
I think the key there is the family's been invested for many a decade. I think the business as a whole has gone through many cycles. Thankfully, I think they've found focus with the family still involved. So I wouldn't be concerned about it at all.
When are we going to see the kicker coming from this one?
That I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that the business continues to do what they do well. They're producing 3 top-class brands, which are all in the higher end segments. So Mini is probably for the younger bunch. I wish Rolls-Royce was appealing to me, but not quite yet. And the BMW brand is as strong as we know it. And they're doing incredible things all around the world in those 3 brands. I don't know when investors will think of it in a positive way.
But it's prime for a re-rating.
I would say so.
Hot or not on BMW, Paul Tron?
Well, that's interesting, as you say, because just a few years ago, the auto players in the US were, you know, basically going into liquidation. Storied brands like Volvo were battling to find somebody to buy them. So the problem is that auto industry has typically had amongst the world's largest revenues. It's a big employer. As I say, people love the products. but there's not a great deal of confidence with regard to the stock. So BMW's challenge is to be seen as recession-proof and a growth stock, and to kind of rediscover that mojo. I think they could do it, and globally, I think it's a good one to play if you have an appetite for that sort of story, you know, kind of a recovery PE expansion story. So yeah, I'm sort of edging towards hot here.
Is that a clean hot? I need a clean hot or not?
I worry that it's only accessible in Germany. How do you buy these things?
In Germany.
In Germany. Okay.
Well, Tshepo seems to be getting hold of it.
Or a platform, yeah. Okay.
You still haven't given me a clean hot or not.
Yeah, auto industry, man. I tell you, fortunes made and lost. Why not? Go hot. Yes, luxury goods.